जो भी
आगे
आगे
क्या
क्या
करना
कार्रवाई
है,
करने का है।
करनी है तो वो भी आगे भी अपने जिस तरह करना है वो गाइड दे ही देंगे सर।
सतीश में फीस वगैरह कैसी रहेगी जी?
देखो सर, अगर हमारे से सिर्फ कंसल्टेशन कंसल्टेशन है ना, फिर तो हम आपसे लेंगे 2.5 lakhs।
ठीक है।
अगर हमारे बंदों
संदीप भैया म्यूट रखिएगा। अमित भाई, आई एम मेकिंग यू अ को होस्ट। संदीप भैया, आई एम ऑल्सो मेकिंग यू वन को होस्ट।
पुनीत जी, आपके पास यूट्यूब आप कनेक्ट कर दोगे लाइव?
भैया कर दिया मैंने यूट्यूब कनेक्ट, वी आर स्ट्रीमिंग लाइव एज ऑफ नाउ। एक्चुअली वो मीटिंग मैंने पहले स्टार्ट कर दी थी।
ओके।
तो कॉन्फ़िगर वो पहले यूट्यूब करना होता है, फिर मीटिंग स्टार्ट होनी होती है।
ऑल राइट, ऑल राइट,
तो
ओके।
आई हैव डन इट, वी आर लाइव ऑन यूट्यूब ऑल्सो। सिर्फ रिकॉर्डिंग चालू करनी होगी, वो मैं कर दूंगा। एक्चुअली आई एम पैरेलली अटेंडिंग टू मीटिंग्स, एक हेड ऑफिस की जर्नल कमेटी की भी मीटिंग है 5 बजे।
ऑल राइट, ऑल राइट।
तो वो मैं दूसरे डिवाइस से कर लूंगा। अमित विल हेल्प मी टुडे विद द मीटिंग, ही इज वन ऑफ द को होस्ट। अभी जैन साहब भी 5 बजे ज्वाइन कर जाएंगे, तो उनको भी मैं को होस्ट बना देता हूँ।
नमस्कार
राजेश
संदीप।
सर, वेलकम बैक अगेन।
थैंक यू।
नमस्कार सर, नमस्कार अंकल।
आप तो नमस्कार बेटा, कैसे हो?
बस बढ़िया बढ़िया। आई जस्ट ज्वाइन यू इन 2 minutes। आई वाज इन अ मीटिंग,
ठीक
लेट
है,
मी।
ठीक है, ठीक।
थैंक यू जी।
नवीन सर नमस्कार।
नवीन सर नमस्ते। राजेश सर, आप लोग का डिस्कशन हो गया?
हाँ जी।
तो
हाँ
वो सर्च वाला भी कवर करेंगे ना?
हाँ, वो भी करेंगे। वो
नमस्कार
तो
मल्होत्रा
ब्लॉग
जी।
के बारे में ही है ना?
राइट राइट।
हाँ हाँ।
नमस्कार पुनीत जी।
सर
नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार पुनीत साहब। संदीप जी नमस्कार। संदीप जी थे ना अभी?
संदीप जी कह रहे हैं मैं 5 मिनट में रीज्वाइन करता हूँ।
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। रोहित जी से फर्दर आपकी बात तो हो गई थी ना मल्होत्रा साहब?
हाँ जी, हाँ अभी हुई है।
हाँ जी।
रोहित जी, एक ना इशू अभी पुनीत जी डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि हमें जो सर्च केसेस हैं उनके रिलेशन में भी कि उसकी क्या लिमिटेशंस होंगी और वो रीओपन करते हुए क्या इफेक्ट आएंगे, वो भी आप डिस्कस कर लेंगे। ठीक है प्रीत जी, मैंने याद भी करवा दिया।
सर सुन लिया सर, थैंक यू सो मच।
हाँ,
नहीं, वो करेंगे
इम्पोर्टेंट है ये बात।
वो।
और 43B पे भी अभी तो नवीन सर तो हैं ही, तो 43B पे आप कब करना चाहोगे?
नवीन सर,
हाँ जी,
as
हाँ जी।
possible we should be doing 43B again, and we should, देखिए कंक्लूसिव जब तक हम कुछ सबमिशन ना कर दें, रिक्वेस्ट ना कर दें ऑन वेरियस टॉपिक्स विद द हायर अथॉरिटीज, टिल देन अपना अपने ग्रुप का ना इंटेंट सिर्फ रह जाता है नॉलेज शेयरिंग आपस में। बट उससे कुछ आउटकम आना चाहिए, तो 43B का एक रिप्रेजेंटेशन भी बन जाता है इफ वी कुड डू अ मीटिंग ऑन दिस।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी। हाँ, इस पे एक बना लेते हैं 43 में।
सर
संदीप जी
उसमें
नमस्कार।
करनी है वो सर पूछ रहे थे।
हम्म।
तो कोई कोई भी आप शेड्यूल कर लीजिए। भी संदीप जी, किसी के साथ डिस्कशन तो नहीं हुई हायर लेवल पे?
इस पे जो है ना 43 पे 43B पे बना लेते हैं।
ठीक।
तो हाँ, इसको जो है ना एक बार डिस्कस करके, वैसे कौन से किनके साथ, श्रीवास्तव के जी के साथ एक बार बना लें बात करके। क्योंकि वो
ज्यादा बेटर
आजकल
है।
अपना कंपाइलेशन वो प्रोविजंस पे अच्छा कर भी रहे हैं। और क्या वो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं इसमें, क्या क्या है, तो एक बना लेते हैं
गाइड
रिप्रेजेंटेशन।
ऑल्सो कि कैसे ये आगे हम सीबीडीटी तक बढ़ा लें।
वही पर्पज है ना। जो 43B में अब कई चीजें आ गई हैं जो प्रॉब्लम तो कर ही रही हैं, तो उस पर बना लेते हैं एक बार। फिर मैं आपसे डिस्कस कर लूंगा अलग से ना, करके इसको बना लेते हैं।
सर एक
ठीक है
मीटिंग
जी।
देना चाहिए, इस पे थोड़ा और फर्दर डिस्कशन हो जाता है।
ये ले लेगा ड्राइवर है। हाँ। चलो भाई।
या
जय।
एक काम करें पुनीत जी, अभी तो क्योंकि टाइम है, पहले हम इस पे 43B पे अपना ही एक एग्जॉस्टिव जो है ना, एक स्टडी सर्कल रख लेते हैं। और उसमें जो इश्यूज आएंगे उसमें डिस्कशन के बाद, और जो जो प्रॉब्लम्स आएगी उसके बाद बना लेंगे एक इस पे प्रेजेंटेशन। क्यों
ठीक है
संदीप सर?
नवीन जी, बिल्कुल आप ठीक कह रहे हैं, और
हाँ।
मैं भी यही सजेस्ट कर रहा था
हाँ
कि
जी।
पहले एक डिस्कशन कर लेनी चाहिए,
हाँ, एक एग्जॉस्टिव
ताकि
मीटिंग इस पर।
प्रिसाइजली हम क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं ये हम उस पे जीरो डाउन कर सके।
हाँ हाँ। और भी लोगों के वो भी आ
और
जाएंगे ना।
श्रीवास्तव जी सर को
सर ही इज
जरूर
कमिंग,
आप
अभी
पहले
उन्हीं से फोन पे बात कर रहा था, ही इज कमिंग।
रिक्वेस्ट कर लेते हैं उन्हें
ठीक।
कि वो बनाएं और हम उनको हेल्प कर देंगे।
ठीक पर रोहित
जय।
साहब नमस्कार।
तो
स्वागत है आपका।
नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार सर सभी को।
नमस्कार सर।
संदीप भैया वो बजट वाला अभी तक लाइव नहीं हुआ अपने
सर
चैनल पे।
नमस्कार सर, वो मेरी बात मैंने करी थी राजेंद्र अरोड़ा अरोड़ा जी से। आई थिंक वो थोड़ा बिजी हो गए हैं इलेक्शन शेड्यूल में शायद अपने।
ओके ओके।
हाँ, आई हैव रिक्वेस्टेड हिम कपल ऑफ टाइम्स, तो अभी दोबारा इस पर फिर बात कर लेते हैं। इफ ही इज ज्वाइनिंग टुडे दैट विल बी इजियर
वो
फॉर
ड्रॉप
अस।
बॉक्स में भी भेज देंगे तो हम लोग एक्सट्रैक्ट करके उसको
आई
डाल देंगे।
अंडरस्टैंड, हाँ 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 हाँ, बिल्कुल ठीक है।
अच्छा भैया उसमें एक चीज और करनी थी।
हम्म।
स्टिल दी ऑथेंटिकेशन कोड व्हाइल लॉगिंग इन गोस्ट, वो एसएमएस जाता है रंजीत जी के पास, हम लोग
जी
उनको बार बार ट्रबल करेंगे।
जी जी जी
उसको
जी।
आप जैन साहब का या अपना नंबर डाल दीजिएगा।
ठीक है, वो कर लेते हैं एक बार। अंडरस्टूड। एक्चुअली लास्ट मंथ मेरा भी बहुत ज़्यादा बिजी रहा, इसलिए ज़्यादा इधर भी कंसंट्रेशन नहीं कर पाया। अभी गुड़गांव भी मैं होके आया था कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए, तो हमारी
भैया कुछ
पब्लिक।
फाइनल हुआ?
हाँ, अब ऑलमोस्ट फाइनल है। कल जज साहब से बात हुई तो कुछ डेट्स का शेड्यूल चेंज प्रॉब्लम आ रही थी, क्योंकि वहाँ ना एनसीएलटी की इंटरव्यूज आ गई हैं।
भैया वो डेट का इशू और भी आएगा आई थिंक। एक एके सर बता रहे थे देर इज वन प्रोग्राम ऑन द सिमिलर डेट्स, वो सेल्स टैक्स बार
वो
एसोसिएशन
कर
का।
लिया तभी। अभी हम लोग शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं कॉन्फ्रेंस को 27 और 28 अप्रैल को।
ओके।
हाँ, वो आई थिंक वो ठीक रहेगा सबके लिए।
भैया वेन्यू
बाकी
मत चेंज करिएगा।
वेन्यू वेन्यू की भी चेंज होने की बात चल रही है एक्चुअली।
ओके।
हाँ हाँ।
वेन्यू तो
पहले
बहुत बढ़िया था।
हाँ, अभी वो देखते हैं, अगर वही मिल गया तो वही कर लेंगे वेन्यू। दैट्स नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम। लेट्स सी।
सिंगला साहब नमस्ते।
नमस्कार सर नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सिंगला साहब।
नमस्कार सर, नमस्कार जी।
सर नमस्कार। नमस्कार सर। क्या डिस्कस हो रहा है संदीप जी?
सर हम डिस्कस
नमस्कार जी
कर रहे
गुप्ता
थे
जी।
थोड़ी एक्टिविटीज के बारे में, कि पिछले महीने थोड़ा सा हम वो रहा, हमारी मंदी चलती रही। हमने काम कम काम करा है, थोड़ा सा फिर से एक्टिवेट करेंगे। अभी अप्रैल में हम लोग कॉन्फ्रेंस प्लान कर रहे हैं ना, टैक्स कॉन्फ्रेंस जो।
जी जी जी।
वो
कहाँ
अब
पे?
वो हम गुड़गांव में कर रहे हैं। 27 28 अप्रैल डेट फाइनल हुई है उसकी।
जी सर जी।
हाँ, वो मोस्ट लाइकली कल फ्लोट कर देंगे उसको सर फाइनली। बाकी डिटेल्स आती रहेंगी। मैंने एक दो स्पीकर से भी बात करी है, सो होपफुली विल गेट देयर कंसेंट एंड देन विल गो अहेड विद इट।
ठीक है
2 दिन का प्रोग्राम रखेंगे सर गुड़गांव में।
जी। सर एक ज्वाइंट डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट पे जरूर रखना टॉपिक, अगर हो सके तो।
सर हम लोग आपस में डिस्कस करके ही बनाएंगे। जो तभी ये स्टडी सर्कल जो हमने बनाया है उसका पर्पज ये है, ताकि लोग ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फायदा उठा सकें।
सर
ठीक है
हम
सर।
संडे का भी एक बात
ठीक है, तो मैं बुला।
मैं विपिन, वेलकम। क्या हाल विपिन?
सब ऐसा बढ़िया। गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन।
गुड
गुड
इवनिंग।
इवनिंग विपिन जी।
गुड इवनिंग विपिन जी।
गुड इवनिंग सर।
गुड इवनिंग बद्वा सर, इट्स एब्सोल्यूट प्लेजर टू हैव योर ब्लेसिंग्स विद अस सर टुडे। सर आप
गुड
अनम्यूट कर लीजिए सर, आई थिंक यू आर म्यूटेड।
गुड इवनिंग संदीप जी।
गुड इवनिंग विपिन जी, गुड इवनिंग सर। अब
विपिन जी
प्रोलिफिक।
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार रोहित जी,
नमस्कार जैन
नमस्कार।
साहब।
हाउ यू
नमस्कार
सर?
सर, नमस्कार सर।
गुड इवनिंग कपूर साहब।
वाधवा
गुड
साहब,
इवनिंग
आप
सर, गुड
अनम्यूट
इवनिंग
कर
सर।
लीजिए अपने आप को। वाधवा सर।
मैं उनको रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ, आस्क टू अनम्यूट ना, आई थिंक वो
हम्म,
प्रॉम्प्ट अब आ जाएगा।
वो बोलना चाह रहे
हो
हैं,
गया?
हाँ ठीक है।
Can I be, am I audible now?
हाँ जी,
एब्सोल्युटली
अब
सर,
वाधवा साहब
एब्सोल्युटली
नमस्कार।
सर,
नमस्कार
एब्सोल्युटली।
बद्वा
Thank you,
साहब।
नमस्कार एंड
thank you,
वेलकम
जी
thank
सर।
सर।
you, thank you. So let's start. Answer. Hmm.
We can wait for another 2-3 minutes, I think, Puneet ji. A lot of
Yes,
people.
yes,
हाँ
yes, yes, yes.
अच्छा, 10 पे शुरू कर सकते हैं अपने।
अभी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं।
Hmm. Then लगा हुआ है। Hmm. नाम पे
एक जो है नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं सोच रहा था संदीप जी, 43B के साथ साथ ना छोटा सा एक ये सेक्शन आजकल जो बहुत ज्यादा यूज हो रहा है, 131(1)(a) विद इन ब्रैकेट 1A। इसमें
हाँ।
एक्चुअली नोटिस इशू हो रहे हैं, और मेरे ख्याल से इसको यदि हम डिस्कस करें ना, इसमें अपनी पावर के बियॉन्ड जाकर के वो इंफॉर्मेशंस और वो कुछ भी मांग ले रहे हैं।
जी।
तो वी शुड मस्ट बी अवेयर कि हम कहाँ पे उनको थोड़ा सा रोक सकते हैं, या कहाँ हम उनको जो है इसमें, क्योंकि मतलब 2-3 मिनट में ही फिर शुरू कर देंगे, मैं इसके बीच में कर रहा था बात। तो इसमें क्या हो रहा है कि वो रीजन टू सस्पेक्ट उनका होता है, उसी के अकॉर्डिंगली उनको आगे इंफॉर्मेशंस मांगनी चाहिए। वंस दे बेसिकली दे स्टार्टेड विथ द रीजन टू सस्पेक्ट, उसके बाद ही ये इंफॉर्मेशन और ये मांगते हैं, बिफोर एनी एक्शन इज टू बी टेकन अंडर सेक्शन 132 124। अब क्या होता है, ये कुछ भी मांग लेते हैं जी, बुक्स ऑफ वो ले आओ, अपनी 6 साल की बैलेंस शीट ले आओ, 6 साल की अपनी रिटर्न की कॉपी ले आओ, जितने भी लोन्स हैं उसके आप दे दीजिए, सेल्स रजिस्टर, क्योंकि बोगस परचेजेस और सेल्स को देखना होता है, टोटल ले आओ। तो इस पे
दस दस
डिस्कशन,
दस दस साल के मांग रहे हैं सर, 10-10 साल के।
अब तो वो 10 साल के डेफिनेटली मांगना शुरू कर
2014-15
देंगे।
से डिमांड कर रहे हैं।
सर 143(1)(a) की बात कर रहे हैं आप?
नहीं
नहीं,
सर, 130।
131
नहीं
विद
नहीं
इन ब्रैकेट 1A।
अच्छा, 131 में।
हाँ।
1A जो
वन
आजकल
थर्टी
बहुत
वन
ज्यादा
वन
इन्वेस्टिगेशन
कैपिटल
से
ए।
नोटिस। हाँ
डीडीआईटी
110।
डीडीआईटी के यहाँ से आ रहे हैं ना सब।
हाँ,
हाँ
अच्छा
जी।
130, मैं वही कह रहा हूँ 143(1)(a) में तो ये नहीं हो
नहीं
सकता।
नहीं,
नहीं नहीं,
131 बने।
131 विद इन ब्रैकेट
सर
1A।
131 में तो ऐसे है ना कि जब किसी की इन्वेस्टिगेशन शुरू होती है तो 131 इज जस्ट लाइक अ समनिंग पावर, तो उसमें तो फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ एक्सट्रैक्टिंग ट्रूथ, अगर किसी की 148 में सपोज चल रही है प्रोसीडिंग्स विच कैन रिलेट बैक टू 10 years,
और हमारा मन फिर इंटरेस्ट पैसा
and
मिलता है तो थोड़ा
that
इंटरेस्ट
person
लगता है।
is saying that the other party should be summoned so that we can cross examine him to find out the truth, तो उसमें तो सर वो पिछले सालों के डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपसे मंगवाएंगे 131 में अगर बुलाएंगे तो।
नहीं, 131 अलग है, वो दैट इज इन रिलेशन टू द इशू ऑफ समन। बट आई
एब्सोल्युटली।
एम I am talking of 131 within bracket 1 capital A.
All right. Okay. Okay.
ठीक है ना? In this case, they also ask for the information through the authorized representative of the company.
Okay.
They do not insist to
Be
be
present.
appear in person.
हम्म.
तो देयरफॉर उसमें क्या हो रहा है, यो अपनी बियॉन्ड, जो मेरे को लग रहा है ना नोटिस आ रहे हैं जिस तरह से, वो
जी।
अपनी जो बियॉन्ड पावर्स जाकर के ना इंफॉर्मेशन, जनरल इंफॉर्मेशन मांग रहे हैं कि भाई
लाइक
एक केस में तो ये आया कि जी आपने लोन्स की वो दे दी, आप कंफर्मेशन लाओ, तो आई हैड टू रेस्ट्रिक्ट हिम।
वो 143(3) में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं उसको 131 की प्रोसीडिंग्स।
जबरदस्ती। तो हमें हमारे हम प्रोफेशनल्स के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ये होना चाहिए कि कहाँ हम उसको रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर सकते हैं, और रिप्लाई दें तो उसको किस तरह से दें कि एक एरोगेंट भी ना लगे, और एक थोड़ा सा उसको जो है समझ आ जाए कि भाई एक लिमिट में वो जो है मांग सकता है इन्फॉर्मेशन। तो वी शुड डिस्कस ऑन दिस एस्पेक्ट, हाउ टू
सर
प्रेजेंट
इसमें
द
ना
केस।
सर एक काम करते हैं नवीन सर, आई थिंक इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल टू होस्ट वेबिनार फॉर ईच एंड एवरी टॉपिक बिकॉज इट बिकम्स बिट टू मच। आप एक रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा सर, अपने सर्कल के अंदर ही अगर हम एक या दो लोग इसको पिक करके वी कैन मेक अ वीडियो ऑफ से 10 मिनट्स 15 मिनट्स, और उसको हम लोग सर्कुलेट कर सकते हैं, सो पीपल कैन एक्चुअली बी गाइडेड बाय दैट। इट्स मोर
यस,
ऑफ,
ये भी अच्छा हो सकता है, ये भी अच्छा
है ना?
सजेशन।
अगर आप पॉसिबल, अगर आप ठीक समझते हैं तो आप 10 मिनट का मेरे को वीडियो बना के भेजिए। हमने पहले अमित जी का भी वीडियो बनाया था, तो आप वीडियो बनाइए, हम वीडियो को सर्कुलेट करते हैं सर। वी विल पुट इट
राइट।
अप ऑन आवर यूट्यूब चैनल आल्सो ना।
संदीप जी, एक
जी
काम और भी आप कर सकते हैं।
सर
I have been the chairman of the representation committee.
सर
Now, although technically I have given up, but the person who is not taking the
जी
charge, but
जी
I can write to the board and I can meet the chairman if the persons, the assessing officers and others are calling for information prohibited by law or prohibited by instructions. And I
राइट
have met the chairman and got those circulars withdrawn, requisitions withdrawn. I can do that because in my case, there is no problem of anybody.
सर। आई अंडरस्टैंड सर। इनफैक्ट हमें हमें वदवा सर का यहाँ होने का हमें फायदा उठाना चाहिए मेरे ख्याल से। अगर आप एक, हम यूट्यूब पे तो गाइडेंस के लिए लोगों के एजुकेटिव मोड में हम लोग इसको कर सकते हैं, और दूसरा अगर हम इसको बाय पर फोर्स हम वी वांट दैट सीबीडीटी शुड इशू द गाइडलाइंस इन दिस रिगार्ड,
Yes,
तो हम
I will
वदवा सर को
I will
रिक्वेस्ट
get
कर
it done.
सकते हैं कि
I will get it
ही कैन
done. Yes.
इम्प्रेस अपॉन द ऑफिसर। बट
Yes.
पहले आपको पहले वदवा सर को कन्विंस कराना पड़ेगा, उसके बाद वो
नहीं
कन्विंस
नहीं, मैं कन्विंस हो जाता हूँ। मुझे तो ये है भाई, जहां पर भी झगड़ा होने की संभावना है
जी
वहां गाइडलाइंस इशू कर दो। And
जी
I was
जी
myself in the deputy secretary
आई
in
नो
the budget
सर।
section.
हाँ
Now we used to issue that, अरे भाई एक एसएससी कह रहा है, 10 और कह रहे हैं, वकील कह रहे हैं कि भाई ये झगड़ा हो सकता है, इशू कर दो गाइडलाइंस।
ठीक है।
चलिए,
इस पे तो जरूर कर सकते हैं मल्होत्रा साहब। आज जो डिस्कशन होगा ना 143 इस पे, 148 कैपिटल ए पे, तो इसमें से इश्यूज जरूर निकलेंगे, तो अपने वादवा साहब के साथ डिस्कस कर सकते हैं कि इसमें एक्चुअली ये जो प्रोविजन था ईज ऑफ बिजनेस के लिए था, और वो
बिल्कुल
बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट हो गया। तो कैसे
बिल्कुल
हम वादवा
बिल्कुल
साहब
सर।
से रिक्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं कि उस पर कुछ क्लैरिफिकेशंस डिपार्टमेंट करे,
नहीं
ईच
करवा
एंड
सर
देंगे।
एवरी केस ले
लेकिन
लेते हैं।
लेकिन अभी तो जो आप एटीट्यूड देख रहे हैं डिपार्टमेंट का, उसमें तो जो क्लैरिफिकेशन इशू होती है वो ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेट करती है रादर देन ईजिंग द प्रॉब्लम्स।
नहीं, उसमें एक चीज मैं कर सकता हूँ।
जी सर।
जो प्रॉब्लम हम क्लैरिफाई करना चाहते हैं, आई कैन रिक्वेस्ट द चेयरमैन कि भाई मुझे ड्राफ्ट दिखा दो, इनफॉर्मली मुझे ड्राफ्ट दिखा दो। सो
बिल्कुल ठीक है,
है जी,
वो बहुत बहुत बड़ी हेल्प होगी।
बस तो वो अगर ड्राफ्ट ठीक है, नॉर्मली वो क्या करते हैं, जो मेंबर कंसर्न है ना, उसके पास
हाँ
मुझे
जी।
टेलीफोन कर देते हैं, बदला साहब आ रहे हैं, हमारी सर्विस के थे, तो आप इनको अटेंड कर लीजिए। तो वो
अरे
जो मेंबर कंसर्न है A1 या A2, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द जुरिस्डिक्शन, वो बेचारा
जी
बुला लेता है, काफी 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 पिला करके मुझे वो कह देता है कि आप इंस्ट्रक्शन बना लाइए, मैं इशू करवा दूँ। सो
गुड, ये तो इट विल बी ग्रेट।
सो
ये तो बहुत बड़ी हेल्प हो जाएगी ना सर।
बिकॉज वी
अदरवाइज
वांट,
देखिए, अब अदरवाइज डिपार्टमेंट जो है कोई ना कोई वे आउट निकालने की कोशिश कर रहा है लेजिस्लेचर को बाईपास करने के लिए।
दैट्स द थिंग। We are not asking for anything illegal. We are wanting
जी
follow the law in an objective manner, in a reasonable manner.
बिल्कुल ठीक है, बिल्कुल सर।
शुरू करें? मैं
हाँ
करिए
हाँ
प्लीज।
पुनीत जी, एक बार सबको म्यूट कर दीजिए आप प्लीज।
Yes, that's a good idea.
नहीं शुरू सर
ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದಾರಾ
Information technology. No, no. We can start the meeting.
हाँ
Yes, sir.
शुरू
जी,
कर
जी।
दीजिए।
Rajesh sir, over to you,
जी
please.
थैंक यू पुनीत जी
प्लीज एक बार सबको
थैंक यू
म्यूट कर दीजिए प्लीज आप, इफ यू कैन।
हाँ पहले पुनीत जी सभी को म्यूट कर दीजिए
Rajesh sir, please go ahead.
जी सर थैंक यू पुनीत जी and thank you chairman Narjon Sandeep ji for giving us this opportunity to address the fraternity आज का टॉपिक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंस रख रहा है क्योंकि जैसे जैसे 31 मार्च नजदीक आता है डिपार्टमेंट को याद आ जाता है कि उसने केसेस को रीओपन करना है और फिर वो शुरू करता है अपनी एक्सरसाइज सेक्शन 148 कैपिटल ए पे और जो भी एसोसिएटेड प्रोविजंस हैं उनको एक्सरसाइज करते हुए इधर उधर से कोई इंफॉर्मेशन निकाल के
सर कैन मतलब सर सॉरी टू इंटरजेक्ट, आई
जी
जस्ट वांटेड टू मेक अ रिक्वेस्ट। सर आई रिसीव्ड अ रिक्वेस्ट फ्रॉम आवर फ्रेंड्स फ्रॉम साउथ इंडिया that
जी
in case we can deliberate in English as well, so it will be easier for them. So let's make a mixture of Hindi and English,
yes yes
so that we
yes
can,
that
they
will be
can,
my endeavor that will be
yes,
my
so that
endeavor
a lot of more people can actually take benefit of this session, sir.
certainly certainly
Thank you so
certainly
much, sir.
certainly
Thank you. Just sorry for
so
interrupting.
Sir, can I share
no
the
issue
screen, Lotra sir? Just want
जी
to
जी
ask, should I share the screen or
yes 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 sir
so
please let's
please
start with
let
section
me
147
allow me to share the screen, Puneet ji, please.
I'll do that.
So, for invoking the provisions of section 148 capital A, we have to first of all take note of section 147. Prior to 1st of April 2021, the section was reading like this only. It starts, if the assessing officer has reason to believe that any income chargeable to tax has escaped assessment for any assessment year, he may, subject to the provisions of section 148 to 153, assess or reassess such income and also any other income chargeable to tax which has escaped assessment and which comes to his notice subsequently in the course of proceedings under this section, or recompute the loss or the depreciation allowance or any other allowance as the case may be for the assessment year concerned. Herein, after in this section and in sections 148 to section 153, referred to as the relevant assessment year. This was the earlier provision of law. And then there was a significant change in the approach of the department. From 1st April 2021, it has been now rephrased as, if any income chargeable to tax in the case of an assessee has escaped assessment for any assessment year, the assessing officer may, subject to the provisions of section 148 to 153, assess or reassess such income or compute the loss. All other limbs are also there, except a significant change that in this particular provision itself, any information or any subsequent issue comes to his notice, this part had been deleted, but then it has been added as an explanation to the provision itself. So it is very much there. But then what is important is whether the reason to believe has simply extinguished and the officer is now enclosed with the powers to take action in any manner he likes. Although there are certain restrictions, certain conditions, certain provisions which are trying to subject his powers to certain conditions, but still, as per the experience of the fraternity, it is being done in any manner they like it, without any reasoning, simply with the thought that reason to believe is not there. And then all this is not required. But in my mind, and as has been observed in a very latest judgment also by the Honorable Karnataka High Court, the reason to believe has extinguished now, and for this reason, the provisions are more stricter than it used to be. Then it is observed therein, thus the assessing officer has to be prima facie satisfied that there is escapement of income, unlike earlier law which permitted action based on mere reason to believe. So it must be a concrete evidence with him for initiating the action. And then comes section 148. I am simply referring to it for the purpose of scope of section 148 capital A only. Before making the assessment, reassessment or recomputation under section 147 and subject to the provisions of section 148 capital A. Now, section 148 can be invoked only after the provisions of section 148A are complied with, because he is to serve the notice under section 148 only and only along with the order passed under section 148A D itself. When we were going through all this, I am not going in straight away into the provisions of section 148 capital A, because a notice is to be served by the AO under section 148 itself. Can it be done before an order is passed under section 148 capital AD? That will be a question which will be answered to by Rohit ji now.
Yes, sir. Before starting the this thing, as rightly pointed out by this sir, I will just go with the brief history that what was the erstwhile section and what is the new section. Because before giving the charm of 147, we have to understand that what was the importance of section 147 earlier and what is the importance of the 147 which we are seeing in the current regime. So earlier 147 was full thing was on the reasons to believe. But now if we go to the sections and the phraseology used in section 147, the word is income chargeable to tax. So according to me, as rightly pointed out by the Rajesh sir, that now the assessing officer first have to come that there is some income chargeable to tax. The word is income chargeable to tax, not the word income only. So there must be some income. For example, I will just take an example with you. I will give you an example. If a person I have filed a return and he has taken a penny stock. He has shown the penny stock in the return of income under the head short-term capital gain. The income under the short-term capital gain has been shown as rupees 40 lakhs and has paid the tax at the rate of 15%. As we all are aware that as per the provisions of section 111A, the short-term capital gains are required to be taxed at the rate of 15%. Now, the information is popped on the inside portal that this is a penny stock. Now, the issue is whether it can be taxed under the penny stock because there is no evasion in income. Because if I am talking about short-term capital gain, sale price is say 45 lakh, cost price was 5 lakh, and the capital gain is 40 lakhs. In my case, I have shown the capital gain at 40 lakh rupees. But the charge of the department is it should be taxed under the provisions of 115 BB. Now the issue is if we go to the language, it talks about income chargeable to tax. My income is same. So I just want to point out that there is variance in tax, but there is no income chargeable to tax, there is no variation in income. So friends, if we go to the erstwhile section, and go to the explanations also, there is a sea change. First of all, I have just made a comparison for all of you. If I go to the erstwhile section, it refers to the AO has reason to believe that any income chargeable to tax has escaped assessment. In my given example, there was no income. Income was same, but there was variance in tax. So as per my knowledge, as per my consideration, the provisions of section 147 new, which has been substituted by 1/4/2021, can't be invoked in these cases. I will just show you why it can't be invoked. We were talking about this thing. I was talking about the case. We will take another example. Survey was conducted. The SECI has surrendered excess stock of 40 lakh rupees. AO has made the assessment under section 143(3) under business income. Now, the information is that as per the audit objection raised by the department, there is an information on the online portal that it must be taxed under the provisions of section 115 BB. Continuing my above example, I am just referring to that there is a variation of tax, not variance of income. So the word reason to believe, if I go to the erstwhile section, reason to believe, there is the issue I just want to make it and bring in your kind notice that if I go to the earlier section at the initial stage, there was prima facie case that there must be escapement of income. And if we go to the explanations also, I just want to refer an explanation. This is of the erstwhile section. This is not of the new section. In this case, what they are talking about, they are saying that where an assessment has been made and such income has been assessed at lower rate, in that case, they were saying deemed to be the cases of escape assessment. But in new section 147, there is no such explanation. So meaning thereby, it is, according to me, this variation in tax can't be opened under new provisions of section 147. First thing I just want to bring in your kind notice. Now I'm giving you the second example, what I was referring to. I will come to the case laws also. I am now using the word as used in the act, new act. And also I will compare the old act also, what the old act was built. If we go to the section of the 147, it talks about if any income chargeable to tax in the case of the SECI has escaped assessment. Now the issue is, what is the meaning of assessment? If I read the plain language, escaped assessment means he is talking about reassessment. But this provision was earlier also in the law. So how we can say that this is escaped assessment or not? Because if I go to the old judgment of the apex court in the case of Rajesh Javeri, reported in ITR 291, ITR 500, it says that 143(1) is not an assessment. So I am just giving a food of thought that the escaped assessment used here in the new section includes only reassessment or it includes assessment also. This is my main thing. Now I will compare the same with the old language. In the old erstwhile 147, this word was also as escaped assessment. Then how the lawmaker in the old regime used to say that assessment includes reassessment? Because of explanation, friends. There was an explanation. Explanation here is this. Again, I am referring to explanation 2B. What was this explanation? Was saying that for the purpose of this section, the following shall be deemed to be a case where income chargeable to tax has escaped assessment. B, I am referring to explanation clause B, where a return of income has been furnished, but no assessment has been made. It is noticed by the AO that there is an undisclosed income or has claimed excessive loss, deduction or relief in the return. So meaning thereby we are referring to that these are the cases where it will be treated as escaped assessment, deemed escaped assessment. But in new law, this explanation is nowhere there. So we can explore this thing, that what is the meaning of assessment given in section 147. Now I'm just continuing to the further examples, which I am just referring to. In the case of more regarding what is the word used, because friends, before going to the section 147, as rightly pointed out by the sir, that we have to go to the section 148, and 148 says we have to go to the procedure of section 148 capital A. And 148 capital A is required in all cases or not, we will see it. It is not required in all cases, because in some of the cases, like in search cases or 153C cases, which we were talking about, it is not required. Furthermore, but in survey cases, it is required. The larger question is that what is the fate of 148A? What is the case of 148AB? There are a number of the judgments on this issue. I will take the judgments one by one and will answer this question, that what the lawmakers has tried to make this. Now I'm just referring to the example which I am referring to. This is also based on the Bombay High Court decision only. What they have said, that the information was popping on the online portal 148A. It includes that the assessee has made the transaction in sale and purchase, and the total escapement of income is to the tune of rupees 98,04,340. The question before the court was whether this is escapement of income or that is the total turnover. Friends, this is not the total turnover also. It includes both sale and purchase, because the information which is coming on the portal, it is getting all the information. It includes sales and purchase also. So the question which was before the AO, that what is the definition of the undisclosed income? The undisclosed income, they have settled that it is a well settled law that only the net income from buy and sell transaction. So what was I was telling, that the net income must be there, meaning thereby earlier the word was reason to believe. Now there is more emphasis on the word income escapement of assessment in the absence of reasons to believe. It has to be in real sense. And the net income is also that the income amount which is not chargeable to tax. In this case, what happened, that the assessee challenged that the information which was appearing on the online portal is mirroring the summation of purchase and sales. On the basis of this information, only my reopening can't be made. But what precautions we have to take regarding this? If we talk about 148 capital A, there are 4 limbs, A, B, C, D. And if it is the duty of the assessee that to reply to the notices and how to reply, we will deal it. Now I'm coming to the second issue, which is also very interesting, because I am dealing with only 147 first. In this case, what happened was that the assessee has not filed the return of income. This is very important case. No return of income was filed. This is the case of Nitin Nema versus Office of Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Madhya Pradesh High Court. What happened in this case was that the assessee has made a turnover of export. He has made some export turnover. So what happened, that this was appearing on the portal and the assessee has not filed the return of income for the assessment year 16-17. Assessee replied by giving the profit and loss count that I have made sale and purchase of scooters, and these scooters were exported, and submitted all the informations along with the bill. Now the question before the High Court was that what is to be taxed? Tax is regarding income not chargeable to tax. And they said that income not chargeable to tax has not been defined in the Income Tax Act. But the scheme of IT Act, especially the provisions of such deal with the computation of business income, it is abundantly clear the definition of expression income chargeable to tax are at variance to each other. Therefore, the word income chargeable to tax is given more importance than the word income. The word income is defined in section 224, but mechanism has been defined in 5 heads of income. If I talk about the capital gains, let us take another example. Department is saying they are opening my case on the basis of the information appearing on the online portal that the assessee has sold the property for this and this. That is not my income. I have to go to I have sold the property. then the provisions of section 48 are required to be applied. Full value of consideration after index cost of acquisition, less expenses on transfer. So if the SESI is giving full information during 148A to 148D procedure, then in that case, the AO is bound to drop the proceedings, because 147 can only be invoked once there is established that there is income chargeable to tax. Because the language of 147 uses the word income chargeable to tax, earlier it was reason to believe and it has not gone away. So according to me, friends, the word reasons to believe is done away, but it is giving benefit to the SESI, because earlier the prima facie was there. Now we are given an opportunity under 148B. We have to prove it, that whether this is the income chargeable to tax or not. Once it is proved, then the AO is bound to drop. He can't say that this is not the case. It depends upon the evidence we have submitted during the course of hearing. Over to you, Rajesh sir.
Thank you, Rohit ji. A very important aspect has been touched by you regarding implications so far as section 147 and 148 are concerned. Now we go to section 148 capital A, because it lays down the procedure how section 147 and 148 can be invoked and applied to any SSC. Rohit
Yes,
ji,
sir.
slide.
Before going to that, sir, I just want to touch another point which you have spoken
Right.
during the
You may.
that
You may.
if another income, sir has also touched one point. While 147, he has told that, for example, my case was my notice under section 148 was issued on A issue, but assessment under section 148 was opened. During assessment proceeding, assessee explained A issue. Now the issue is whether the AO can make the assessment on B issue. This the Rajesh sir has also touched, which we have left. This explanation has been added. So now the important issue is that where their main issue on which the reopening was made, that is issue A, was dropped during the course of assessment proceedings, whether addition on B issue can be made or not. I will just like to touch some points. According to me, first of all, the initial notice issued under section 148 is bad in law. Once his issuance is bad in law, then subsequent proceedings are bad in law. Second, if we go to the language of the explanation, I'm just referring to the language of explanation. AO may assess or reassess the income. Friends, this word income is very important. Issue was regarding cash deposit. Now the AO is just making addition for disallowance of depreciation or disallowance of expense. The issue is whether he can do this, because the word here uses reassess the income. If we go to the erstwhile section 2B, they say that if there is disallowance of, I can give you another example. For example, I have filed a return, original return at a loss of rupees 50 lakhs. Original reasons, original income suggest was dropped by the AO. He says you have claimed excessive loss. But my again question will be, the explanation says AO may assess or reassess the income. In this case, loss has been reduced. And if we compare this word with the erstwhile section 2, explanation 2B, they says that if loss is also reduced, then it is also deemed escapement. But in this case, friends, the wordings are missing. So there are two schools of thought. If I just compile the things, first school of thought says that 148 cannot be made if original is dropped. 147 assessment on new issues can't be made in the absence of the original reasons on which 147, 148 was issued. Second school of thought says it can be issued, but it has to be tested in the courts. We all are aware that the judgment of earlier, it was regarding the Jet Airways, is pending before the Supreme Court regarding this issue. So according to me, now it was a judgment of Rambexi Laboratories by Delhi High Court also, earlier judgment, which was reported in 200 Taxman 242. This says that 148 is required to be issued for new issue. So there are several issues. So it has to be tested in the court. Both school of thoughts can go either way. Now I'm just referring to the 148 which sir has referred. Any comments regarding Rajesh sir regarding this issue?
It's all right. Let's
May I?
continue with section 148.
Yes, yes. Vipin sir. Yes.
हाँ जी, विपिन जी.
Because I mean, I don't know if I am going against the design of the delivery, then I will come later and at last.
No. You please.
Okay. So on this issue, only my own one simple comment is, I am for the first school of thought. The reason is different. The reason is different, or maybe I mean I'm just supplementing. When the original issue goes, then it hits the very jurisdiction on which the case was reopened. So
I
it
also
becomes a
agree.
jurisdictional issue. If the original issue has gone, then it has become a jurisdictional issue that on the foundation on which the original jurisdiction was assumed has gone, and therefore the jurisdiction which was assumed has got struck. And this is the reason that new issues cannot be taken up. And in the old law, there have already been judgment that it is only when the original issue sustains, then only the new issue can sustain. And there also the logic was, because if the first issue goes, the very jurisdiction goes. The reason to believe at that time, and today the income has escaped assessment. This goes, and this is gone, and therefore no new issue can be taken up. I am with first school for this reason. That's it. That's all I was to
I just
share.
want to
I
add.
also agree, Vipin ji.
I just want to add, there is some fear in my mind, because if we go to the section 147, erstwhile 147, there was a word that says that and such income and also any other income, which is very relevant, because in all the case laws we were just pressing this issue that if the original income, what is the significance of and? Such income means undisclosed income, and other income means the new income. But if the original income is gone, for which 147 was made, then the new income has to be gone. But these phraseology is missing in section 147, which we talk about new regime. So with this, I just want to add in this that these words are missing, so it can go either way. By first
Right.
thought.
So the original judgments were on two accounts. One, this and was there, so this and was interpreted. That is one thing. And because this and kind of terminology has gone, and therefore there is a second school of thought that and terminology has gone. At the same time, it was not the only logic. One logic was that the original jurisdiction has gone. So yes, the language and following that and has gone. But that logic that the original jurisdiction has gone, that has suffered no change even in the new law. So based on that limb, I am saying that I am in the first school.
Okay, sir. Okay. Agreed, sir. Agreed.
That is the most logical conclusion that can be drawn, so far as these provisions are concerned. Now we go to section 148, capital A, and the heading is conducting inquiry, providing opportunity before issue of notice under section 148. So 148 is subject to the compliance of section 148, capital A in general. Exceptions are there, of course. Here it reads, the assessing officer shall, before issuing any notice under section 148, conduct any inquiry. Now the word is not conduct inquiry, it says conduct any inquiry if required. That too with the prior approval of the specified authority with respect to the information which suggests that the income chargeable to tax has escaped assessment. It must then be the information which is available with him, which is specifically establishing the fact that there is escapement of income which is chargeable to tax, which we were reading till this particular point of time. Now the question arises whether he is bound to conduct the inquiry. It seems as far as the language of the section is concerned, if it is required, only then he may conduct or he may not conduct. Now, it will be a case before the honorable courts to decide whether it is to be read as if required or it is to be strictly followed.
Sir, it is
There are
already there
varying
in Ashish
judgments.
Agarwal.
There are
Has been
varying judgments on it.
I mean, if I may say, in Ashish
Ji.
Agarwal, Supreme Court has said when this was challenged, everything was challenged before the Supreme Court. Ashish Agarwal says that in any case, clause A only says they may conduct if
directory.
required.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is a thing which may or may not be there. If there is a need, they will do it. If there is no need, they will not do it. It depends upon what kind of information they possess.
So we cannot question it.
But
See,
if
we
I
can
seems
question
so.
it if it was required on the facts of the case and then was not done.
So we
Like
have to
earlier, we
suggest.
used to say that independent inquiry has not been done, independent inquiry has not been done. If there is a need of
Right.
an independent inquiry and then they don't do. I mean, borrowed opinion is not justified just because it is a may.
That is what I am trying to bring out. Even if it is if required, the word is if required, still, in my opinion, the assessing officer has to do something to establish that there was some income which was chargeable to tax which has escaped assessment.
in my view
Merely
also,
because some information is appearing in the system will not be sufficient.
in my
Is it
opinion
okay?
also, the assessing officer is required to verify first whether the information in hand do require the further inquiry or not. He shall have to record this view either on his order sheet or in the file itself. Because first he will have to satisfy, therefore, the information before him are expressed, are clear. There is no need for further inquiry. So he should record certain statement in his file. Because how
I
can
just
we
want to
understand
add something.
yes,
You please, sir. Please,
Yes,
sir.
right.
in my opinion, he should record his satisfaction whether the information in hand do require further investigation or not. If he is satisfied there is no need, then he should proceed on the basis of the information, the notice under section 148 A2, sorry B. उसे कम से उस स्टेज पे
Zero.
इंफॉर्मेशन के साथ he should record his mind कि what he is thinking about the information in hand, whether information is expressed is clear, there is the escapement of income, then okay, he should record satisfaction and proceed further. But
So
how can the SSC be known whether the information is required further investigation or not?
So
He
it
should,
must be there on record that the learned officer has applied his mind and he finds
yes,
that information is good enough and no further inquiry is independently required.
yes, application of
Because
mind
it
is very
then
important.
because it may be taken up in judicial scrutiny later on, whether
Yes,
that
yes.
inquiry was required or not.
Otherwise, there is
Right?
no fun of this
Yeah,
provision.
right. You are very right. But still, it will be open for judicial scrutiny as to see
Yes.
whether inquiry was required or not.
Yes. Before the issue
That
of
will
notice,
certainly
whether
be
he
there.
has applied his mind or
Yeah.
not, it is to be
Rohit,
recorded. This is my view.
wants to add something?
Yes, yes. First of all, we have to consider the whole section 148 capital A before
That
going to the
that we will.
conclusion. Because if we go to the proviso, it has said that in these cases, 148A mechanism is not required. So if we
Right.
use the word, interpret the word if required, we can also
Ji.
say this if required is only used because in such cases it was not required. And in other than such cases, it was required.
So those are the
So
exceptions built in.
So the legislature has used the word if required only to cover those circumstances where it is required and where it is not required. One distinction is this.
A distinction is there.
But I have some caveats regarding this. Why I'm
Right.
going that we have to read the whole section. But if we go to section 148A B, it is a show cause notice. in show cause notice, you are again given an opportunity. And if there is any information, let us take the example that the information was appearing on AES mode and the information was jumbled up. Two transactions were appearing twice. In that case, you are given an opportunity of being heard. So you can't take as that it is my right only. But we must take into consideration the board instructions, which is dated 1st of August 2022. But according to me, there are many judgments from Bombay High Court recently in Satguru, which has clearly spelled that if required, used in section 148 is not mandatory. Secondly, which Vipin sir has said, in the case of Ashish Agarwal, though it was not on that case, they have also dealt with this case that if required is at the, if the assessing officer wants to verify, he can. It is not mandatory. So it has to be tested. I can't say that if required is, but there are number of judgments from the different high courts which have said that if required is not mandatory. This is my view.
Right. Then we
No,
come to.
I am of the opinion.
Ji,
I am
ji,
of the opinion. Hello.
Yes,
ji
sir.
sir,
Yes,
ji
sir.
sir.
I am of the opinion that it has to be the judgment of a reasonable man. If a reasonable man thinks that no inquiry was required, then no inquiry. It is not an ipsi dixit of the assessing officer or of the authority. It has to be the judgment of a reasonable man.
Right. Sir, then we come to subsection B, which says the assessing authority shall provide an opportunity of being heard to the assessee by serving upon him a notice to show cause within such time as may be specified in the notice, being not less than 7 days and but not exceeding 30 days from the date on which such notice is issued, or such time as may be extended by him on the basis of an application in this behalf as to why a notice under section 148 should not be issued on the basis of information which suggests that income chargeable to tax has escaped assessment in his case for the relevant assessment year, and results of inquiry conducted, if any, as per clause A. Now, Rohit ji,
Yes, sir.
opportunity of being heard, whether it is simply an opportunity being given to file the reply, or some personal hearing is to be given. Those are two questions which I pose to myself. And number two, whether any notice which has been issued but not served within giving the time of 7 days to the assessee concerned, will be a good notice or not?
Yes.
Those are two questions which hit my mind.
I will just request to unmute all of you because, sir, the two issues which you have addressed was, the first issue was whether the opportunity of being heard should be equated with personal hearing or oral hearing. The first issue is this. The second issue is that by serving upon him a notice, and the time given in the notice should not be less than 7 days. This 7 days should be counted absolutely without taking into consideration the holidays. Second, if the notice under section 148 clause B mentions 3 days, whether it is a valid notice or
सर प्लीज अपने आप को म्यूट कर लीजिए.
म्यूट कर दीजिए मेरे ख्याल से.
We were talking about two different things. First thing was regarding the issue of opportunity of being heard. Second issue
Right.
was whether the 7 days is mandatory or 7 days can be curtailed. These are the two issues. And
Yeah.
third issue I will also like to touch with respect to information which suggests. What is the
Right.
definition of the word information which, with respect to information which suggests that income chargeable to tax has escaped assessment? if we go with these things, I will just like to take you to the section 148. The section 148 has given the definition of, in the explanation, the definition of information. So if we combine all the sections, if I combine all the sections, A section says conduct an inquiry, B says opportunity of being heard. It should be by serving a notice upon the cessee, and it should not be less than 7 days, and it should not exceed 30 days. So there are many questions. What is the definition of show cause notice? Whether, because if I continue A, B, C, D, there are many issues which will come in between. So I will address first issue regarding the opportunity of being heard, whether the opportunity of being heard as embedded in section 148AB is equated to personal hearing or not. Before that, I will just refer some of the case laws regarding 148AA. These are the case laws, friends, where they have said that inquiry is not mandatory. This is the case of Calcutta High Court, Champa Impex, Satguru Sign is Bombay High Court pronounced in January 2024, which they have interpreted that 148A, small a, inquiry is not mandatory for the AO. Third issue was, and next is another the case of Bombay High Court. Now I pose you another question, that if some inquiry is made by the AO, whether it is obligatory from him to share that inquiry or not. Friends, if some inquiry is made, it is obligatory for the AO to share such information along with show cause notice. So if I sum up this, according to me, inquiry is not mandatory by relying upon this judgment. But if some inquiry is made, then it is required to issue such information with the cessee. Now I am just referring to second issue, whether conducting an inquiry, I was talking about personal hearing. Personal hearing, I am referring to the word personal hearing. What is the personal hearing? It should be equated, and what are the things? These are the things. Just give me time, minute. Before going to that, personal hearing, I will just touch the issue of 7 days also. That what are the issues of 7 days is mandatory or not. This is the case which I was referring to, is of Penjos Builders. In this case, I have just given an example also, that the notice was issued on 20th of March 2022. This is in one of my case. And the AO has asked to reply in the show cause notice because 148AB is the show cause notice along with the annexure within the period of 4 days. Friends, first of all, I just want to mention these are not 4 days because the date when notice is issued has to be excluded. This is as per the general project. So the days which was given to me was 3 days. It was not 4 days, friends. In this case, similar case was addressed by the Bombay High Court recently in Feb 2024, Penjos Builder, in which the total time provided to the assessee under section 148AB was less than 7 days. In this case, friends, the High Court has quashed these proceedings. I'm just referring to the word quashed the proceedings. So we can say that 7 days are mandatory by relying upon these judgments. We can't say that 7 days are to be dealt in lightly manner. Second thing, the notice issued must be signed. Because in many cases, notices are coming on 148AB, they are not signed. They are not digitally signed. So there are two types of views regarding digitally signed notice. I will touch upon one. I will complete this. In this case, the period was given less than 6 days and less than 7 days, and they have quashed the proceedings in the case of Penjos Builders. Second, now I am referring to the case of RN Fashions. Friends, please, in this case, I will just want to highlight some things which are very important. Notice was issued. This is of the Calcutta High Court. Notice under section 148AB was issued on 12th of March 2022. Time provided was within 18th March 2022. Now I have just made a reference to this 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Friends, 12th, it was Saturday. 13th, it was Sunday. 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. These are 4 working days. And 18th March, 19th March, 20th March is again a holiday because of Holy Holiday and because of Saturday, Sunday. The issue before this court was whether the principle of natural justice as embedded in show cause notice was given to the cessee or not. The court has dealt upon this issue and said that the holidays will be excluded for the period of calculating 7 days. And matter was set aside to the AO. So I just want to bring in your kind notice. These are the things, these are the objections which we have to take into consideration. What are the consequences? It is less than 7 days. There is a quashment also, but in this case, it has been only set aside. Similarly, is the case of Jindal forgings on the same line. Period was less than, and it was quashed again. I am now referring to another case, which is very important, that whether 148B AB needs any enclosures or not. What is 148AB? First, we have to understand it is a show cause notice. And there are ample decisions regarding the Supreme Court, which have there are n number of decisions which says that the show cause notice must include all the information, all the data relied upon by the department on the basis of which they are making an opinion. On the basis of which they are saying that the 148 notice should not be issued against you. For example, if they are having any investigation report, any statement, then in that case, all these statements, everything should be enclosed with it. But in many of the cases, what the assessing officer is doing, they are not giving the material in hand. They are only referring to the inside portal. Inside portal, friends, is not a material. So, while drafting the objections, your first objection should be, please provide the material. Why I'm telling you? Because this 7 days has to be calculated once I am seized with the material. Once I am seized with the material. For example, if I am not having the material, if the notice was issued on 20th of March, and I have given the reply on 21st March that please provide the material, and the AO gave the material on 24th of March, then these 7 days have to be counted from the 24th of March. So enclosures are very much necessary. So I am referring to some things which are very important. Friends, we all are aware that the notices are divided in 2 parts. One part was pursuance of Ashisha Garg, that the notices issued between 1/4/2021 to 30th/6/2021. This is the first case. We refer as a completed case. Niji, I just request that please mute everybody because there is a lot of disturbance in between. I request once again that please mute everyone because it is not possible because there is lots of disturbance in between. We were referring to 2 types of cases, friends. One is converted cases and one is non-converted cases. These converted cases are the cases in pursuance of Ashish Agarwal. And these are non-converted cases means other than the Ashish Agarwal. We are aware that the judgment of Ashish Agarwal was pronounced on 4th of May 2022. And in the judgment itself, it has written that within the period of 30 days from the pronouncement, all the information relied upon by the revenue should be given to the assessee. And assessee is required to reply within 14 days immediately after the receipt of information. So I'm just putting the things that information by which they are referring to statement which has been recorded by GST authorities. I need the copy of full statement. I don't want the paragraphs, para number, question number 4 or 5. I need the full statement because there is a possibility that the things which are in my favor was not given to me. cherry picking should not be allowed. So you should ask for full copy of the statement. Now I'm coming to non-converted cases. Instruction number 1, 1st August 2022. It is 29/10/2022. It clearly states that all the information, all the inquiry should be part of the note. So while making the objections, we have to take reference of the instructions also, because we are aware that the officers of the department are bound to follow the instructions and circulars issued by CBDT. We are also aware of the fact that in the case of UCO Bank, it has been held that the circulars are binding upon the AOs, on the department. So if the circular is saying that you are required to give the material, then why not full statement? I am just giving you some examples. They are saying that cash was deposited in so and so bank account. There are 5 angles which are missing. Name of the bank is missing. Account number is missing. Branch number is missing. Account is joint account or single account is missing. How much is the tuition of cash deposit? What are credit deposit? What is the sanctity of information? Everything is missing. So I just want to bring in your kind notice that the information which is appearing on the online portal is also not correct. And this has been admitted by the department in this instruction only, friends. So I will just highlight 2-3 issues which are very important. This instruction which I am talking about, instruction number 1st of August 2022, comprises of 3 annexures. Annexure 1, which deals with the guidelines and template for 148AB. Annexure number 2, friends, we were talking about now annexure number 2. Annexure number 2 is performa for approval. And annexure number 3 is performa for order under section 148AD. Before starting all the points, before jumping to the conclusions, I just want that you should be seized with these instructions. And most of your queries will be solved by this. In this instruction only, they are saying that in the cases where information is received from investigation wing or other agencies, details of letter, brief summary, information, along with the relevant portion of such report, details relied upon documents may be enclosed. So their instruction is saying that if the information is coming from GST department, you are required to give the information. Next, whether show cause notice under section 148AB contains the details of information. They are asking in the approval. While giving the approval by the specified authority, he has to mention whether the notice, show cause notice, contains all the information or not. Furthermore, 148AD, that all the informations should be given by the screenshot. So 3 things we have learned. Now I am coming to this. It is very important. Annexure 1. This is the annexure 1 which gives the performa under section 148AB. Before coming to the case laws, I just want to throw light on this, that they are saying that detail of information conducted reliance is being placed along with the supporting documents are required to be enclosed with the notice. This notice is the show cause notice. So second issue was that the information which the department is carrying, it is required to be given to the assessee, which the department is not doing the information. They are not referring to any statement. They are not doing, which is against instruction number 1st of August 2022. Friends, I will also like to highlight some things. These are the guidelines. And the guidelines also says that along with the relevant portion of such report, meaning thereby the report of investigation wing received by the department is also required to be issued, but nothing is given. And with this, I will refer to now annexure 2. This was annexure 1. Annexure 1 deals with 148AB. Now I'm referring to annexure 2. Please be with me. And these are very important because meaning thereby, first of all, we have to call for the authority, we have called for the sanction letter given by the specified authority. Because there are numerous mistakes in this annexure. Because while filling the form, the department is not taking care of it. I am just referring to some things which are very important. They are referring to address or email of the SSC. Friends, I have raised many objections that the email which you have sent me the notice is not correct, is not in accordance with the Rule 127. Note, Rule 127 read with Section 282. It is not in accordance with the rule. I will come to the case laws also. Second, you have to quantify, and the quantum is quantum of income which has escaped assessment. I will just give you one food of thought now here. In the case of sale or purchase of shares, as we have earlier dealt, the department is referring to this quantum here. Whether it is escapement of assessment, it is the total turnover. In case of capital gains, what they are doing is they are referring to the total sale price. You have to refer, this is the approval copy. And friends, approval is after 148 AD order. Within 148 AD order, this approval is required. And ninth is that if approval is more than 3 years, then approving authority is PCCIT. And if approval is less than 3 years, approval is from CIT. So this ninth question is also very important. And 12th, again, inquiry conducted, if any. You have to mention whether you have conducted inquiry or not. Last question, which the Rajesh sir has given me, whether personal hearing was required or not. Their own circular is saying whether personal hearing requested by the SSC, personal hearing. They are not referring to opportunity of being. So, according to me, if the circular is saying that the hearing required under section 148B, it is personal hearing, it is not by the oral hearing. They are saying that. And there are n number of judgments regarding this also. So what I am suggesting you with this, first you will ask them to provide me the information. And your letter should be strict. It should mention that the period of 7 days will start when this information will be given. Because this has been addressed by Ashish Agarwal itself. Because they have stated that in Ashish Agarwal, within the period, the moment information is received, after 2 weeks, assessee is required to file the reply. So if the information is not received, how the period of 7 days can be? Second issue, that approval is mandatory, and in many of the cases, department is not giving the approval. क्या ये उनका right है कि they can keep the copy of the approval with them? The board circular, I will come to the board circular 148 AD, which says that copy of approval is required to be issued mandatory. It is not that they can keep. I am not asking something, anything else. I am asking only the copy of approval, on the basis of which, because there are n number of mistakes while giving the approval. And with this, I am just referring to now case laws. Now, please, before coming to this is the annexure 3. Annexure 3 is order under 148 AD. Friends, please see the order, copy of approval of specified authority. Now their approval pro forma itself says that the approval copy is required to be given to the SSC. And the department is not giving that. They are going against their instructions. Case law पे तो मैं बाद में जाऊंगा. What are the case laws which are beneficial to me?
रोहित जी, केस लॉ की तो बात ही छोड़ दीजिए. मैंने एक केस में स्पेसिफिकली रिक्वेस्ट किया, एंड दी एओ सेज कि मैंने जी इसको जो ऑर्डर पास किया है उसके ऊपर मेंशन किया हुआ है, इसलिए सेपरेटली देने की जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि ट्रांसपेरेंट है, ऑनलाइन हो रहा है.
तो मेरे के सिमिलर केस वाज विद मी. आई जस्ट रेफर्ड दिस परफॉर्मा and I asked him that why are you not, these instructions are binding on you, please tell me the reasons, under which capacity, under which reasons you are not following the instructions given by the board. Please, these are the instructions which are very mandatory. And now I'm talking about this opportunity of being heard. Friends, in the online portal, this OBH is through personal hearing because there is no case of virtual hearing in this. I have referred one case. If virtual hearing is, there is another tab here. There is no virtual hearing. So we can go to the jurisdictional AO and appear by way of personal hearing, which is embedded in the instructions also, whether personal hearing was given or not. Now, these are the cases, friends, where personal hearing has been accepted by the courts. If I have to argue the case, I will say instruction number 299, para number 8 talks about personal hearing. Second, section number 2, para number 16 talks about whether personal hearing requested by the SEC or not, and in which capacity you are denying me. Now, what is the stand of the department regarding this? Department is saying that personal hearing have not been engrafted in section 148AB. They are giving these reasons. Second, they say that personal hearing is done where there is variation in the return of income. I am just saying that after 148 AD, 148 notice will be issued to me. And in 147, the charge is escapement of income. So why not personal hearing? Personal hearing should be granted to the SEC, and there are cases. First of all, this is the case which I was referring to. This is the case which I was referring to of B. Boy Joseph John versus. This is the case of Madras High Court. See what they are saying. They are saying that whether PH is a condition precedent before an order under section 148 AD, held in the light of circular which has been prescribed, if a request is made which is expressly provided for grants of personal hearing under clause A, the above circular is binding and it may not be open to revenue to contend the contrary. So these are the things. Courts are accepted. Courts have accepted this. Madras High Court has given the reference of circular also that personal hearing is mandatory. Now coming to the next. Now question was, express provisions under section 148 contemplate that assessee should be granted opportunity of being heard. This is next judgment. This is the case of Kerala High Court. This is in February 2024, this judgment. See the judgments which clearly say that in this case, ITO versus Service Cooperative Bank, in this case again, the court has dealt that while deciding the issue of statutory provisions, the grant of PH approach of the court must be pragmatic rather than pedantic. So considering this, I just want to highlight that the personal hearing is mandatory. This is my view. But against judgment is also Satguru Sai, which says that in the case of Bombay High Court, which is pronounced in February only, which says that personal hearing is not required, oral hearing is. They have relied upon the judgment of some Supreme Court in the case of Sunil Garg. But if I go to the circular, because in this petition, the petitioner has not raised the circular into consideration. If the circular has taken into consideration, it clearly says that personal hearing is mandatory. So I beg to differ with this judgment. Now the issue, next issue. I just want to touch this issue, very important, because I have faced some issues which I am just referring to 148 AB only. The issue was, I was in receipt of notice under section 148 AB. 148 AB is a show cause notice. And in show cause notice, we have dealt three things: that first PH is mandatory, 7 days is mandatory, and information is required to be given. Now in this show cause notice, the issue is whether they can ask to provide me the bank statement. He's saying that you have taken an accommodation entry of rupees this and this. In order to substantiate that entry, you are required to submit these: ITR of that person, bank statement of that person. Whether show cause notice is a questioner? Answer is no, friends. Show cause notice says that why the notice under section 148 should not be issued against you because you have taken the accommodation entry. Show cause notice, you can't ask for the information. So these are the things and I am just referring to the Calcutta High Court judgment, which is very important in the case of Swal Limited versus Union of India, which clearly says that the questionnaire and show cause notice are two separate things. In this case, the SECI has invested in the penny stock. This was the reason. And the AO is asking, please give me the copy of bank statement. Please provide whether the sale was made online or offline. This is not questionnaire. And the court has stuck down, the court has quashed this, that the show cause notice issued under section 148AB is not fulfilling the requirement dealt in section 148AB. Second, what the court has dealt, which is very important, they are saying that you were required to give the information. Have you given the information in the form of statement? Have you given the information in the form of investigation report? Have you given the information that some survey was given and statement of some broker was given? Nothing on record. And you are saying you please substantiate, because these types of things are not required in show cause notice. And they have relied upon the judgment of Supreme Court also. And they have also referred to CBDT instruction number 1, which was immediately issued after Ashish Agarwal. This says that it is not sufficient for AO merely state that he has reason to believe that income has escaped assessment, but he has to set up material based on which such belief was formed. So in this case of Madnani Engineering Works, they have said that you have to give the material. You can't say that you are not having material. In here you are saying that he has taken the accommodation entry. So this is the judgment of Swal Limited of Calcutta High Court, which I have discussed. Now, we have dealt with the issue of a copy of approval. Friends, just we have read Annexure 3, and below Annexure 3, it was written copy of approval is required. Instead of, मैंने तो बहुत reminder भेजे, I have sent lot of reminders, but they are not giving the copy of approval. Why I am forced that I take the copy of approval in RTI? Why I am forced? While filing the writ petition, we say that the copy of approval was not given to us. And then the affidavit comes. What is the need? They are not following the circulars. And now I am telling you what the department is doing. I will refer to the case, which is very important. If I go to my old approval copy, which was here, I will just show you what the department is doing now. Then I will come to the case law. This is the facts. This is the copy of approval. In this case, what they are referring, approval is given by PCIT, meaning thereby they have to tick 149(1)(a), but they are ticking 149(1)(b). Approval within 3 years was of PCIT. PCIT is giving approval, but he is selecting 149(1)(b). And the court, what the court has said there is a mistake of 2 officers involved in it, because now everything is going through systems. First was the AO who has filled this form. Second was the regional commissioner who haven't checked this, that 149(1)(a) should not be taken, 149(1)(b) should not be taken, only 149(a) was required to be taken. Third was the PCIT. They are saying that if all the proving authorities have read this misapplication of mind must not be there. Judgment is named Nikhil Chaudhary, Bombay High Court, which has said that if there is a wrong ticking in serial number 9, they have inadvertently ticked 149(b). We will not say it is a mistake. There is a completely non-application of mind of all the officers in line. So I just want to bring that if you will not get the copy, if you will not take the copy, how you will raise the objections? So we were referring to this, and now I was talking about the case law, which was I was talking about. This is the case law approval in which there was completely non-application. And there is some another myth that copy of approval is not required in the case of search case. I beg to differ in that case also. Because if I see Annexure 3, they say notice under section 148, Annexure B, order under section 148, approval of specified authority in search cases as well in non-search cases. So you can't say that in search cases approval is not required. Approval is still required under section 148 and copy of approval is required along with notice under section 148. This is as per the instruction. Now I am referring to this, please. Yes, sir.
Rohit sir, we have to be a bit quick now.
Okay,
It's 6:21 only
okay.
already.
This is the
So we
judgment.
cut it. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah, please.
I am just concluding this 148 AD.
Yeah.
This is the judgment in which the copy of statement was not given to the SECI.
Yeah.
And when the statement was given, the name of the SECI was not in the statement. He is saying that Ankit Jain is an entry operator, but he has never said that the transactions made with the SECI were under invoicing or over invoicing. So the court has stuck down by saying that you have not furnished the material, you have not provided the copy of approval. This is the judgment. Last issue which I am going to touch now. With this, I will just refer to the Rajesh sir only. Friends, what is the meaning of show cause notice? If show cause notice was regarding that the SECI has taken share capital of this and this amount from A, but in 148 AD order, they are saying no, show cause notice was given wrong. Whether this supplementary notice or deviation from 148 AD and 148 AB is permissible in the court of law or not. Supplementary notice, I just want to focus that the notice under section 148 AB and 148 AD, they should be on the same pace. If there is a variation, like in this case, what was the case? See, please. This is the case. And Catchy, we are all aware that there is a Catchy Pro build case of Delhi High Court. I'm just referring to the case. In this case, sale consideration was 35 lakh, stamp duty value was 12.5 lakh, property was A. While passing the order, they are saying the property sold is B. This is not permissible because the intent of show cause notice has been defeated. So I just want to bring in your kind notice that 148 AB and 148 AD should be similar. It should not be on the same things. Second is the case of US Associates. With this, I will just over to Rajesh sir for next things.
Thank you, Rohit. Now we come to subsection C.
Vipin sir has raised the hand. Somebody want to.
Yeah. Please, Vipin.
Yeah, very small thing. I mean, Rohitji was telling that the approval in case of such cases also is required as the instruction goes. I want to just add on and support that same view that is there in the statute itself, that 148 notice when issued has to be with the prior approval. The only exception is when 148A procedure has been gone through. So in such cases, because 148A is not there, so there is no clause D order, but approval of a specified authority is a must. That is not only there in the instruction, it is there in the statute itself, first proviso to section 148. That is one thing only. And another thing I was thinking of is, that's true that when the show cause notices are issued, they are almost all the notices are incomplete and not with the instructions. Now, the only thing is, what is happening before the high courts when we go in the writ jurisdiction, sometimes they quash clause D order and the entire assessment proceedings. Sometimes they set aside. When they set aside, then they initiate afresh. So there is a professional judgment from our part that whether how to go about it. Let them go wrong and challenge it later, or challenge it beforehand and face a chance that they are given a second inning. So that is a thing which professionally we have to judge. If there is a precedent of the same court, same high court, then there is no difficulty, because you can cite it that there is a precedent, my lords have quashed, so this also should be quashed. So that is only a caution to move under writ jurisdiction कि second inning मिला तो अपने को क्या मिलेगा. That's all.
So we can challenge 148B and 148D, right? But then 148AC is also there, which is also of importance. The learned AO is bound to consider the reply of the SSC, which has been furnished in response to the notice. And if it is this particular submission or the reply or any information which has been brought to the notice of learned AO, if it is not considered for while passing section 148 capital AD order, it renders, in my view, that order as illegal and void also. And then we come to section 148A capital D, which has been now discussed in detail along with the B itself. So then we go to section 151. It is also of importance because it has the limits, monetary as well as timely.
I'm just coming to 151,
Yeah,
sir.
please. Yes.
Yes.
Now,
just because there was 148 in between. These
yeah,
are the
no issue, no issue.
yes, sir.
तो मेरे को तो भाई चलाना
Yes,
भी नहीं आता.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
आपकी की help से होता. So section 151 says, specified authority for the purposes of section 148 and 148 capital A shall be principal commissioner or principal director or commissioner or director if 3 years or less than 3 years have lapsed from the end of the relevant year. And if it is more than 3 years, then it will be principal chief commissioner or principal DG. That is very important because if the competent authority is other than what has been specified in this particular provision of law, it will again render the entire proceedings void ab initio. Right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Rohit
Yes,
ji,
yes, sir.
please
Yes.
elaborate.
I just want to touch some issues which are very important. I just want to first of all deal with the proviso which has been embedded by Finance Act 2023.
Right.
This says that, for example, if we talk about financial year 21-22 or financial year 19-20, assessment year will be 2021.
2021.
In that case, 3 years are expiring on 31st of March 2024. Now the issue was, in some cases, that while giving, because the notice was issued on 5th March 2024, let us assume, and while giving the approval, the next month came, there was next month, let us say 4th April. The issue was whether the approval given on 4th April was because the approval period more than 3 years has been gone, whether it was the approval of principal chief commissioner was required or the approval of principal commissioner was. Before addressing this issue, I will just like to highlight some things that this proviso has been added a bit. Now, this proviso says that if by considering 5th and 6th proviso, which says that if any time period given in the notice is added to the limitation period, in that case, the approving authority period will also be extended. In my case, the initial notice was issued on 25th of March 2024. And let us suppose he has given the time till 3rd of April 2024. In that case, the approving authority was principal commissioner. They are just dwelling that the principal commissioner approval given after 3 years can also be taken as a valid approval because of this proviso. But I have some issues in this. This has been added as a bid means from the date in which this section came. But I will just refer to this case. Please, this is the case of Bombay High Court recently given. They have said that because this was before 2023. 1819 notice under section 148 AB was given on 17th of March 2022. Notice under section 148 AD was order under section, this is order under section 148 AD was on 7th of April 2022. Meaning thereby 3 years period has gone. The issue was whether the proviso which was added by Finance Act 2023 can save this or not. The court has held that this approval was bad in law because approval was granted by the PCIT and on the given date, there was no law. Even if the amendment is made retrospectively, then also they have said that approval is not in a right manner. Approval was not of the prescribed authority. The approval here required was of Principal Chief Commissioner. So I just want to think that because whether these amendments, because this amendment is retrospectively, like whether this can help it or not is a question. Furthermore, I was just looking to the provisos also. They have said 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I just want to bring in your kind notice that these 3rd and 4th proviso were itself added in Finance Act 2023 in such cases. They are saying they are also in that proviso. If we go to section 149, they are saying that these provisos are from 1st April 2023. And here they are saying they are retrospectively. So there is some, I feel it can't be applied retrospectively because as held by the Bombay High Court in the case of holiday developers, that is the correct law. This is my submissions. Yes, sir.
रोहित जी, वैसे भी इसको रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट तो दिया नहीं गया
सर। रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली इफेक्ट इसलिए दे दिया गया, रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली अगर आप देखेंगे वहां पे वो लिख रहा है एबिड अमेंडमेंट है, आगे डेट नहीं लिखा। तो मीनिंग देयर बाय डिपार्टमेंट इज सेइंग दैट इफ द अप्रूवल वाज गिवन बाय द पीसीआईटी इट इज राइट, बिकॉज अगर आप वो प्रोवाइजो देखेंगे तो वो ये कहता है, अगर आप 149 की 5th प्रोवाइजो देखेंगे जो फाइनेंस एक्ट 2023 से 5th प्रोवाइजो हो गई है, नंबर्स आर रीचेंज्ड, इट सेज दैट टाइम गिवन इन द ओरिजिनल नोटिस और एक्सटेंडेड टाइम will be added to the period of limitation. 5th proviso to section 149. Now the issue was that is only for 149 or for approval also. By adding this proviso, they are saying that this was for approval also. Limitation is a separate topic and approval is a separate. For limitation, they are referring to 5th and 6th proviso. Now they are saying that by adding this proviso, the powers for the approval which was embedded has also been, can also be given by the PCIT after 3 years, considering 5th and 6th proviso.
Okay. So, Naveen sir, you want to add anything?
It is okay. It is absolutely okay because what cannot be given on the day when the law was prevailing cannot be given retrospectively. This is absolutely perfect.
That is also my opinion. Vipin ji?
सर रोहित जी, पहली बात एक बात बताऊं, मैं आई एम सो हाईली इम्प्रेस्ड विद रोहित जी टुडे कि मेरे पास कुछ बहुत ज्यादा कुछ कहने को है नहीं, बट एट द सेम टाइम आपने पहले ही साइट किया है बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट, सो देयर इज अ जजमेंट ऑन रिकॉर्ड, सो दैट इज देयर। बट आई मीन अगर इंडिपेंडेंटली मुझसे पूछा जाए तो इन द एंटायर स्कीम ऑफ 148 दिस टाइम टेकन in 140A show cause notice and clause D order, the scheme of 148 scheme is that it relates back to when the notice was issued. I mean that is how the law has been drafted. So notice issued in March, clause D in within time of notice period, clause D order, then it relates back to when clause B was issued. In the similar way was the approval. Approval is nothing but in the process of clause D order. So personally, to my mind, it will, I won't say retrospective or prospective, but that limit, taking into account the limitation of the act, the limitation provision will be read into 151. That is my personal view. But obviously, if there is a favorable judgment in my favor, I will certainly cite it and take benefit of it. So it depends now how other high courts look at it.
But sir, I just want to add, in holiday developers, they have not dealt with that proviso, new proviso.
How?
They have said it is bad in law. If we read the judgment body of full judgment, they have not touched.
Right.
But
exactly.
But what the council is saying that there is issue, but now the issue is whether it can be taken as a base or not.
Right, exactly. So I mean, that is how we read the judgments. There are judgments which are fully discuss the issue, threadbare, and then they come up with a final ratio. That is kind of a binding ratio. But then there are judgments where the arguments are not that much discussed and the issues are not threadbare discussed in the judgment, but some relief is there. So other high courts may not be pursued with that judgment. So that is how I reserve my thing. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Vipinji. So I am now referring to three judgments. I am not reading the judgments. I am simply referring to it. Three recent judgments on the issue relating to 148 capital AD itself, which may be noted down. Change of opinion is not permissible even under the new law. That is the view of Honorable Bombay High Court in the case of Meera Bhavin Mehta versus ITO, dated 13th of February 2024. And number two, absence of tangible material also will render the proceedings and the order void. This is again Bombay High Court. 148 AD has been set aside in the case of Sumati Janardhana Kurup versus ITO. The judgment is dated 12th of February 2024. And another judgment is of Karnataka High Court in Shrimati Vasanti Ramdas Pai versus ITO, which is again dated 12th of February 2024, which deals with the entire law, including the instructions issued by the board also on this issue, which have been referred by Rohitji. And with this, I think the entire topic has been covered now, and the time is not now permitting us to move much forward. And if the chairman, Narjun, now deems it proper, then we can take up any issue relating to the deliberation today.
सर आई थिंक रोहित जी ने सारा टॉपिक को इतने अच्छे से कर दिया है कि आई थिंक इन केस he would be the assessing officer or he would have been the officer who had been dealing with the cases, तो शायद 148 में सारे के सारे केसेस में हमें सक्सेस मिल जाती, but that is not unfortunately easy situation. So that's how the litigation goes on and on. We will keep fighting. दूसरी बात ये है कि आप कह रहे हो कि और टॉपिक्स के मतलब और इश्यूज को टच करने के लिए, so for that I would say that in case we take up the questions from audience, that will be better, ताकि हम उसको आंसर कर सके स्पेसिफिक इश्यूज को. सर
Rajesh sir, the chats have a few questions. If you permit, I will read it out.
हाँ जी हाँ.
So Amit Goenka ji has written, can 148 take a issue which was not in 148A?
सर ये काफी डिटेल में डेलिब्रेशन इस पे हुई. सबसे पहले यही इश्यू था कि जो शो कॉज नोटिस में या 148 AD के ऑर्डर में नहीं है, क्या 148 में हो सकेगा, क्योंकि एक्सप्लेनेशन इज देयर. बट वंस इन आवर व्यू, which is based on the past interpretation of law, if the basic issue is not existing, then the subsequent issues will be of no value.
Reasons cannot be improved. It's funda hai.
Yes, yes.
It cannot be added. Nothing new can be added. This is held a number of times.
Yeah.
Sir, उसके बाद the other comments are basically request for the PPT of the speaker.
वो
तो
हम रोहित सर को बोलेंगे।
रोहित जी उसका ना आई
I
थिंक
will
वी शुड हैव अ
definitely-
मैकेनिज्म। मैंने रिप्लाई तो किया है कि दिस दिस मीटिंग इज गोइंग टू बी अवेलेबल ऑन यूट्यूब। उसको संदीप भैया इफ यू परमिट आई विल एडिट इट अ बिट कि जो इररिलेवेंट पार्ट्स है बिफोर द मीटिंग ऑफिशियली स्टार्टेड वो सब हम डिलीट कर लेंगे। बट दिस मीटिंग इज being
Sure.
posted live on YouTube, so it will be available for everyone. But if Rohit ji can share it on our
I will
Nostril
definitely
group,
share, sir.
it
I will
will
ग्रुप
be
पे शेयर
good
कर
for
सकते
everyone.
बहुत डिटेल्ड पीपीटी है, बहुत इंफॉर्मेटिव, बहुत डिटेल्ड, ऑल
बहुत
केसेस
अच्छा।
डिस्कस्ड। मतलब मेरे पास शब्द नहीं है, वेरी
सर
नाइस।
इसको पीपीटी नहीं डाइजेस्ट कह सकते हैं, सब कुछ है इसमें।
सब कुछ है इसमें।
सर इसमें ऐसे अगर आपको 148 का कोई भी नोटिस आता है 148 ए का, आप इसको सामने रख के अपने नोटिस का रिप्लाई प्रिपेयर करेंगे तो मेरे ख्याल से असेसिंग ऑफिसर की जॉब आप बहुत मुश्किल बना रहे हो।
उन्हें लेटर नोट जवाब में कोई जवाब ही मत लिखो, इनकी पीपीटी भेज दो।
बहुत कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा फिर वो, क्योंकि उनका वो माइंड
अरे
सेटिंग
भाई
ही नहीं
इसका
है ना
कंप्लायंस कर दे,
आईटीओ
उसके
की।
बाद हम जवाब दे देंगे।
आईटीओ को ज्यादा
सर
भी लिख दो ना
इससे ना
तो
उसको कई सारी इंसाइट्स भी मिल जाएंगी जो
उसे
हमारे
कुछ नहीं
अगेंस्ट
समझ में आने
जाएंगी।
वाला सर, इतनी समझ होती तो फिर बात ही क्या थी,
हाँ,
कुछ समझ नहीं
बस
आने वाला।
बस मैं यही कह रहा हूँ, उसको
इतना
जितना
होता है।
ज्यादा लिखो ना उतना कंफ्यूज होता है वो। उसे पता ही नहीं, उसका तो माइंड एक तरफ चल रहा है कि भैया हमें तो आगे 148 डी पास करना है, छुट्टी बस।
बिल्कुल।
So
वेरी
then we
गुड,
finish
बहुत
with
अच्छा
it, sir?
मतलब सर।
रोहित रोहित जी, एक क्वेश्चन मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ।
Yes, sir.
सर अगर किसी केस में 148 ए डी में, सॉरी 148 ए बी का नोटिस इशू होता है
Yes,
वेयर
sir.
द अमाउंट इन्वॉल्व इज 50 मोर देन 50 lakhs,
Yes, sir.
so obviously the limitation period would be in excess of 3 years in
Yes,
normal
sir.
course, right?
Yes, sir.
Now the assessee is contesting it and saying that probably like you have added up 2 or 3 figures together, like in bank receipts and bank deposits and everything. So if you don't add up those figures, then the amount will be less than 50 lakhs.
Yes, sir.
But somehow this issue is raised, but 148 order is passed saying, no, we are, according to us, the amount is 70 lakhs. Sir.
147 order has been passed or it is
Sir,
pending?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. So he eventually issues me a notice under 148 and says that you come and appear before me. We filed all the replies. Thereafter, the 142 notices are issued, replies are filed, and eventually he asked me that this information we provided, which I actually provided, and thereafter he comes to a conclusion and issues me a show cause notice, final show cause notice, saying कि जी आपकी सारी बात मान के मेरे लिए आपकी अमाउंट अब 17 लाख रह गई है.
Yes, sir.
What would be the fate of the proceedings, whether this assumption of jurisdiction is correct or incorrect?
No, sir. If the proceedings is more than 3 years,
Yes.
and where the jurisdiction requirement is that the amount which has escaped assessment,
Yes.
but the word is or likely to amount to 50 lakh or more,
Yes.
which have to be taken into consideration.
All
But
right.
the issue is in hand is, if we go to the part B of 149B, it
Yes.
says that if 3 years but not more than 10 years have lapsed from the end of relevant assessment year, where the AO has in possession of books of accounts, documents which reveals, the word reveals is very important. It is not suggest. There is a difference between the word reveal and suggest.
Yes.
Had the legislature has used the word suggest,
Hmm.
then the department must have a case के भी ठीक है जी 50. There is a reveal, meaning thereby had the AO applied his mind in a correct way, then this notice was not required to be issued. So according to me, this notice is bad in law, and there are 2 judgments on this also, which clearly says where the AO has added sale and purchase to make the figure of 50 lakhs. They say if the AO has applied his mind and has followed the act, because the income has to be assessed as per the provisions of the act. And if we follow the provisions of the act, then this notice is bad in law because it does not fulfill the jurisdiction requirement of 50 lakhs or more.
Assumption of jurisdiction is bad in the eyes of law.
Yes.
So that then it's amenable to challenge at the time of issuance of show cause when he has accepted what I said at the time of 148AB.
Yes.
बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है संदीप जी, मैं ये क्वेश्चन पूछने वाला था रोहित जी से।
सर मेरे अपने केसेस में क्या हुआ है, कि एसएससी ने कैश डिपॉजिट बहुत कराया था।
जी
इनिशियली इन्होंने कह दिया कैश डिपॉजिट आपका अनएक्सप्लेन्ड है। एसएससी ने 148 AD तक को रिप्लाई नहीं किया। इट वाज ए रेफर्ड मैटर। आई एम डीलिंग इन मेनी रेफर्ड मैटर्स 148 के। तो मैंने उसको जब सारी सबमिशंस दे दी, नाउ इज सेइंग दैट आई विल अप्लाई 6% जीपी. So now what I am referring to, because this is a show cause stage, I am saying that 6% GP can't be applied because the whole provisions of 149 can't be invoked in my case because the amount is less than 50 lakhs. But they will pass the order with 6% only. Then we have to challenge this, because if we challenge in between at the time of show cause notice, then also we have a case in the High Court. What I am saying is, what my is, if we challenge at the show cause notice also, then also we can have a in the writ in the High Court. But after that, we have to only challenge before the CIT appeals or ITAT.
एक्चुअली नोटिस के टाइम पे आजकल चैलेंज करना ना, ये भी प्रॉब्लम हो गया है वो कि जी आपके पास वो है, आप पहले रिप्लाई दीजिए, ऑल्टरनेट रेमेडी हो गया कि आप वो
नहीं
जाने
सर,
में।
मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है कि मेरा ये जो संदीप जी का क्वेश्चन है, ही सेइंग कि भी अगर ये ठीक तरह से असेसमेंट हुई होती तो उनका 50 लाख से नीचे बनना था.
नीचे
So the
जाना।
basic jurisdiction is bad in law. Because
Absolutely.
149 1B can only be invoked once there is more than 50 lakhs. And the word is reveals, it is not suggest. And the second word is income chargeable to tax. It is not suggestion. It is income chargeable to tax.
Also in this case, also
It
we
is
can
not reason
say,
to believe anymore.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
ठीक है सर।
सर
तो
आगे बढ़े सर।
ये सभी कुछ होने के बाद भी मंगलम पब्लिकेशंस के केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट को कहना ही पड़ा है कि एक बार फिर हमें यही केसेस 147 वाले जो हैं, 148 वाले जो हैं, दोबारा देखने पड़ रहे हैं।
ये तो हो ही रहा है। वो सीबीटीटी ने जो सर्कुलर निकाला ना, वो रोल बैक ऑफ टाइम,
अभी तो
वो
एक
तो
इंस्ट्रक्शन नंबर जो इन्होंने निकाली भी है, वो टाइम बैक थ्योरी की, वो तो अगर
हाँ
आप डिस्कस करो तो इट इज
वो
फैंटास्टिक। क्या किया है
क्या
और
क्या
क्या करना चाहते थे।
डिपार्टमेंट का बिल्कुल है ही, दे डोंट वांट टू गो लॉजिकली, वो जाना ही नहीं चाहते बिल्कुल।
वो तो सर ऐसे है, 148 एडी का कोई ऑर्डर पास हो गया तो उसके सिरे लगा ही देना है, भाई टैक्स तो लगाना जरूरी है।
चलिए, जैन साहब से मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो थैंक्स हमारे स्पीकर्स को, कन्वीनर साहब को वो करें और आगे इसको। और नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं बिफोर आई कंक्लूड, हम नेक्स्ट टाइम पॉजिटिवली 43 भी जैसा बताया है पुनीत जी ने उस पर रखेंगे डिटेल्ड उसमें। इन द मीन टाइम बात कर लेंगे आपस में। जैन साहब।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू टू ऑल ऑफ यू सर। सबसे रोहित जी का और राजेश सर जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत
इतना बढ़िया रोहित जी ने मतलब डिटेल्ड में समझाया कि 148 ए रियली एक चैलेंजेबल आज की डेट में है ही, लेकिन बहुत ही अच्छी पीपीटी वास्तव में बहुत ही बेहतर है। इसको यदि समझा जाए तो काफी कुछ क्लियरिटी आज हुई है। तो रोहित जी को, विशेष तौर पर रोहित जी को, राजेश जी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आज उन्होंने हमारा ज्ञानवर्धन आज इस मंच पर किया है। और आज के जितने भी हमारे साथी इसमें ज्वाइन हुए हैं, जिन्होंने अपना ज्ञानवर्धन किया, उन सबका भी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। और आगे से चाहेंगे हम जब भी अगले जो भी प्रोग्राम हो, अधिक से अधिक हम लोग जुड़े और अधिक से अधिक लोगों को हम शेयर कर पाए अपनी चीजों को, ग्रुप पे, अलग अलग ग्रुप पे, कि जिससे ज्यादा लोग इसको बेनिफिशियल हो सके।